I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Well, hello and welcome to Vernon, BC for the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling Stadium Vernon. Here from the Vernon Country Club. We're here for the finals. 18 teams started, 2 remain, and in just about an hour and a half, 1 will be left standing. I'm Dave Schmel. I'm joined with Shawn, Joyce, and we are watching the finals here between Kristin Skaslien and Magnus Nedregotten versus Tahli and Dean Hewitt. And Shawn, we should be in for a good one.
Yeah, I would expect so. Obviously, by the time you get to this point in the competition, everybody's playing well, made it to the final. Both semifinals went right down to the wire as well. So sets us up nicely here for this final.
And it is Kristin and Magnus with the hammer here in the first end. They're throwing the Yellowstones. From the Lillehammer Curling Club.
Tahli made a great freeze with her first attempt. We saw that a lot in the last semifinal. That was the game you and I were doing, and Tahli made that shot a lot. And she locks that first one in for this team so often, and that's big in doubles. That first shot, that first rock really sets the tone for the end.
So now here's Dean Hewitt. He'll throw the second, third, and fourth stones in the doubles format. And I see he's getting up and brushing their own. Every team has a different approach to this, don't they, Shawn?
Yeah, my experience with doubles actually goes back to before the rule change, where you had to have somebody holding the broom. The rules have changed now, so you could have both players down at the hack end, one throwing, one brushing. It is nice at times to have somebody in the house calling line. You'll get a better line call that way. And certainly on the draws, it's easy enough to get up and swing for your own rock. It can be a little trickier on the hits. You'll see, I think more often, it's fair to say, you'll see them have the second player come down to the other end to sweep a hit.
Now we see a bit of a cleanup here. Yep, here comes the cleanup. Runs the blue in and gets them all moving, kicks them out to the side. So most importantly, that makes the 4-foot accessible to them.
That was the earliest in the end they could kill a stone.
So how early is that, Shawn?
Not just a free guard zone. It's free everything zone. You can't kill a stone until it's essentially the 6th stone of the end, although the first 2 were pre-positioned. So it's the 4th thrown stone at the end.
I look at it just the way you just did. As soon as I see 5 rocks on the sheet, you're good.
Yeah. That's still creating confusion for teams in the 4-player, the 5-rock free guard zone. Every once in a while you'll see, and I saw it in one of the spiels here in Curling Stadium just last week, I think, where the skip said, let's peel the guard and throw her from the other end, had to call down. Yeah, we can't do that yet. you got to wait for 5.
Sometimes you go and do that old head bob behind and try to not let your team know that you were counting the rocks.
Well, she couldn't cover there because she tried to call the shot, Somebody else figured it out.
So here's Nedregotten. Probably just looking to hit and roll back a little bit. Behind or?
Yeah, tough to get behind. He could play the double on the 2.
That's what he's doing.
He's playing the run, yeah.
So we're on the top one, run it back. 1 and 2, and they all go goodbye.
No. Yeah, tough to get behind. He could play the double on the 2.
That's what he's doing.
He's playing the run, yeah.
So we're on the top one, run it back. 1 and 2, and they all go goodbye.
Saw 2 in our semifinal at all. And the last game. So this is going to be a different game for Gill and Hewitt as well. They're going to be facing different shots than what they would have seen in the last one.
So here comes the draw around.
Got a lot of room here.
That's still very accessible.
Yeah. He doesn't have anything he can run back onto it. We'll see how that how that works for him. He made 2 outstanding run backs already this end. This is going to have to be a bit more of a touch shot.
I don't know. Magnus is too strong of a name to throw a tough shot. A touch shot, rather.
Well, he's got to throw a touch here. I mean, you could whip it down there and just pick it out. He wants to hold the shooter. You might not want to stay behind the guard, though. This is behind the tee line, so you might look to hit and roll to the outside here.
He has thrown it with a lot less weight. He's going to get it past the guard. You're past it for sure now. Past them both.
Yeah, he's not going to roll away, though.
Does leave an opportunity here. And that's what you have to throw if you're Gill and Hewitt.
Yeah, this is the freeze to get out of jail. Now she made a nice freeze and her first stone at the end to start things off here.
So key shot early here for Tahli Gill rather. Has to lock it right on there. Keeping him room down the whole way.
See him swing around to the other side, thinking this might have to curl. Like to get right to the face and be shot rock.
That's a well-thrown stone indeed. This is going to be a different game.
Yeah, I don't mind the call. It's hard to score 1 here. You may as well try to score a multiple.
So line this up for the kids at home, Shawn.
Well, it's yellow, and they're throwing at the wide corner one. It's all 6 inches off the line, but so that it's on the right angle. Yellow onto the yellow at the top of the 8-foot. Try to run that onto the blue that was just delivered. You make it perfect, you're probably still losing the back one, but this could be for 2. I don't think there's any way you can stick it for 3.
So final rock of the first end for Kristin Skaslien. Trying to throw the double run.
Magnus will be on the brush, but Kristin's got to call the line from the hack end.
This is going to be close. You're on the first one. Push the second one on. Do you catch it? No, you don't. And it's going to be a steal of 1. Good effort, but it's one in the books for Gill and Hewitt. They have their first blood here in our final. We'll be back.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on up. Okay, what else? What do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Back here in the second end, let's take a look at that big triple.
Yeah, tough to get behind.
Sorry, that double attempt.
Yeah,
Triple, yeah.
this attempt certainly swung things around, and it gives us an idea that we're going to see some different shots from this Norwegian team than what we saw in the other semifinal. Makes the run, catches all three blues, leaves his run back stone in the shot rock position. They had another run back attempt on the last one that, if she makes it, there's a chance for two. And you and I were talking about it a bit in the break. We've talked about it before, and that was a good illustration of just how tough it can be to call line from the hack. We all think we can do it, and in that case with Magnus sweeping, that was their only choice. They had to call it from back there, but with his legs where they were, and it's hard to get them airborne while you're sweeping. She couldn't see the rock that they were trying to run it onto. She could see the one they were hitting first, but that makes it real tough to call the angle as you're calling the sweep. And they were off and on, and she was really close to what she needed, just not quite perfect on a shot that pretty much had to be perfect. So that's just one of the challenges that you face playing doubles. You look at some of the top players in the world, they play four-player curling, and you expect to see percentages in the 85% range. You're not going to see that in doubles. Percentages are going to be a little bit lower.
So now here with the two oppositions down behind the tee line, how do you work to build the end here? Obviously, I guess they're your friends, right?
They certainly can be, yeah. Now, right now, I think it's Gill and Hewitt sitting two, it looks like to me. But you get in front of them anywhere, it's hard to get this one out. Even the two blues, with some distance between them, I don't think there's room to squeeze a rock between them. So if you can get anywhere in front of those three, it's hard to get this out. You could put this right on top of the pinhole, and I don't know if Gill and Hewitt could move it enough with one rock to even sit shot rock.
So here's the draw attempt from Nedregotten. It's gonna just chisel between them both, and it kind of makes another hole there.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal. They're kind of caught at the end too. I don't know whether they really wanted to sweep that or not. They probably were in the same boat. I think they were thinking if they could have hit the outside one thicker and just roll in front of the other one, at least then they wouldn't create room to get this one through. It kind of rattled between the two of them. And now the yellows could leave if Gill and Hewitt wanted to. It's still the same situation. There's four rocks across the back of the forefoot. If you put something on the top of the pinhole, this rock isn't leaving anytime soon.
So trying to find the top of that pinhole is Dean Hewitt. working on in there, and it's going to come right onto the top of the pinhole.
The first indication is we got some weight coming again.
Yeah.
That's a risky call. He was looking at trying to come off the yellow, catch the other yellow, and then spin up and kick that rock forward. Makeable, but very tough. And, you know, the other problem with that shot is he's killing 2 yellows, leaving a bunch of blues around.
Looks like they want to be clear in what they're doing here.
Yeah, there might be room to get it off the blue. That's what he's looking at now. You hit the blue at the back of the 4-foot there, right beside where he put the broom. Inside of that, come to the back end of the blue that was just thrown. Try to kick it out the front. You shoot, it'll squirt back a little bit off that. You're still going to have a bunch of rocks behind the tee line, but he doesn't have to kill as many yellows to do this. He'd like to keep the yellows around. He might, because that first blue and yellow, it looked like they're almost touching. Might be able to rattle a few of those rocks at the back, even if they don't kill them, just so there's not such a wall back there.
So here comes Magnus with big weight. Trying to come in off his own blue. It's going to have to curl to do that. Guy got past here. Oh, no, my goodness. I never saw it coming that way.
No, actually touched the blue first.
Wow. Let's see that again if we can.
I was actually surprised when he set up in the hacks that he was throwing the out turn. I thought this was an easier shot with the in, and you can see she's stuck. She has to wait for the... Ideally, we would like to just get by that blue one. Rubs off it. Double kissed it, actually. Everything happens so fast, even in the replay. So hit it, hit the other blue stone, came and kicked it again. When the dust clears, they're sitting too, and, you know, there's still a wall across the back, but it's not as wide, and there's a bit of a stagger there. So if Dean ends up corner frozen on something, it's possible you might be able to hit it and have it clear the side. He's got to be careful here.
Absolutely, especially because that wall mostly consists of yellow rocks now.
Yeah. You could come right into the pocket in the back. I'm not sure you'd have shot rock then.
This needs to curl to do anything.
It's going to end up tapping yellow.
Oh boy. So the idea here is, if I'm not mistaken, to come to the top of the corner of that button first, and then there might be a really fun shot later.
Yeah, I'd be looking for the fun shot now, just to be sure. Like, I'm not so sure you could hit the wide blue, the one right beside the broom. Come across, hit the front end of your yellow.
Kick into the other blue.
Yeah, I'd have to see the overhead again. But my first thought was, if you hit it right, there we go. You could almost, you couldn't, the back blue isn't leaving, but with the action you get off these stones, it might leave the 4-foot. And you'd start to break up that wall at least. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, sure, for sure. Now Magnus is going to look to throw that draw in to make sure they get a good score here. It's going to be awfully tight to the guard. They're going to make it past.
Yeah, I think he's a little strong. That's why they're past. If you're going to throw that draw, it's got to be in front of the tee line.
Oh, dear. Well, this is a chance for the end to go away now. Locking on, I don't know how you ever make it leave. Well, actually, there's one way, but it's fun.
Actually just slightly across the face of the one that was just thrown. I don't know if it does go.
So Tahli Hill's going to look to try to take the end away from the Norwegians. This is her final stone in the second end.
Really easy on a shot like this to convince yourself in the hack, I gotta be there, gotta be there, gotta be there. But if you tap this, and create some room, he'll be able to, I guess it'll be Kristin throwing, she'll be able to come off that blue at the side of the 8-foot into the side of this rock. That did not get the curl they needed. There's the shot off that blue at the side. Even if you have to touch your own yellow. In fact, you might like to touch your own yellow. If you come off the blue, touch the yellow now because the angle's different on the yellow blue at the back. Come across into the blue that was just thrown. Like all 4 blues could move. A couple of them aren't going to go very far, but it could be for
5 and maybe 6.
We could see 5. I think the back yellow's going, but I think this could be made for 5.
Get your popcorn here. Kristin Skaslien. Final stone at number 2. Need to just catch it and come across, and this looks to be a little bit out. Not gonna get there, and it will be a steal of 1 for Gill and Hewitt. They hold a 2-0 lead as we head to 3. From Vernon, we'll be back in a moment on Curling Stadium.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
So from Vernon Country Club, Curling Club, Dave Schmel with Shawn Joyce with you for the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling Stadium Vernon. And can't help to think that the Norwegians missed an opportunity last end.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was a tough shot, but it was certainly there, and it was there for a pile of points. The other side of that is they've had a couple of shots now with big weights to try to generate some big ends, and you could almost say, maybe not so much in the first spin, but definitely there, that Tahli and Dean have dodged a couple of bullets early, and that probably plays with your mind a little bit too. You've got a 2-point lead, but this is a different team than what you played in the semifinal. You've got to be careful how you approach these last 6 ends. This is a team that will play the big weight to set up the big ends if they need it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, completely different mindset than they had to have in their last game.
Yeah, changes your tolerance, if you want to say that.
Nice little tap up there. Gonna try to come right down to the face of it again. Once again, this game is so much about setting up the angles.
Sorry about that.
God bless you, buddy. You missed the cough button.
Yeah, I was trying to hit it. I had muted my speakers instead. So
I did that. I did that earlier. So. This one comes up just a little short of the face.
Yeah, the tap's okay. They would have liked to get right to the nose.
And well, I think Shawn is sneezing right now.
No, I managed to hold that one off.
Oh man! So we're gonna try to draw right on down and maybe kiss that blue a little bit, or get around it all the way.
That's an interesting question. This is one of those ones where you kind of wish you had player mics to know what they were looking at. Looks like they're playing onto the blue all the way.
That set up a pretty good angle for him.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone in the chat for saying God bless you to Shawn.
Oh, I haven't even peeked in there yet. This is one of those spots where we were just talking about it. Plays into your mindset for Tahli, Gill, and Dean Hewitt. You want to play this little tap, but in the back of your mind, you've always got to be thinking about this is a team that will blast rocks out, so we've got to be really conscious of the angles that we leave here. This is a little scary playing this.
So what's your tolerance here if you had to be all?
Well, short. I mean, you could play this as a guard, but a straight guard, they're just going to run something back, so you want to get some stuff overlapped here. You sure don't want to chip the yellow. That would be bad. I think they're playing it almost as a straight guard. Corner the yellow would be great.
Trying to get to it. That's pretty close.
Yeah, I think the angle they held was good enough. It's, that curls much more, and you play blue-yellow might catch the side of the blue, the back of the button, but it looks like it goes past. Yeah.
They were checking to see whose shot. I think it's blue. By just a hair.
Yeah, I think maybe, although you always have to be conscious of anytime you're looking at a house like that, the darker color, if you get that optical illusion, the darker color often looks like it's got more of the rings than it does. Looks like they're going to play the tap, blue on to yellow, into the button area. It's not just a question of getting the tap, though, here. You might like to get a good angle on the yellow-blue that are going to be left behind. If they could ever get a chance to smash that blue at the side of the backside of the button, but both blues
You're going to have to get past the guard. You got to get past the guard first. Oh, you just did. Can you hold the angle enough? Ooh.
That? Yeah, can you get that blue by the yellow? That's the question. I don't know if he moved it far enough.
Well, do you ever play the blue-yellow nail if you're Gill and Hewitt?
Nope.
Well then, thank you.
Yeah, here's the thing. If there's a way to get that blue by the yellow, the blue in the top of the 8-foot by the yellow in the top of the 4, it hits the side of that blue on the corner of the button, the 3 blues leave. The yellows don't. So you don't want that yellow to move. And it's hard to tell. I'm not sure you could even get it by the yellow right now. It's close. It'd be a tough shot. We're looking at a team that doesn't mind taking on tough shots, though, and they only have to make one. I mean, they've been flirting with scoring some big ends already. This looked like the straight guard call.
On the way from Hewitt.
You might like to overlap the guards here too, because there's a run onto the yellow at the top of the 8, onto the yellow at the top of the 4, into that blue on the button.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking at the whole time.
If you overlap the guards, that's gone too. So they could still get at that blue of the 8-foot, but not where they'd need to. They'd need to get at least to the nose. There's going to be some weight coming here in an attempt to move some guards and hope something's open on the last one.
So I think if you hit, say that stone on the left side as we're looking at it, in the middle, you'll run the other blue into the yellow and maybe back onto the other blue, and hopefully it looks good when the dust clears.
Yeah, I think they're going to go after the long guard, the center guard.
Yeah.
Over the top of the one tight to the rings and bring it back into the pile somehow. And there's a couple of ways that can work out good for you. But the most important thing is to move the 2 guards.
See what happens. You hit the one on the second, and that's all you're going to do. And we think it's still blue shot. So now, Gill, Hewitt, do you have another guard coming?
Well, and if you do, where do you play it? That the guard that's on the center line now is moved over half a rock, so if he didn't hit it right on the nose. If you overlap them now, they could probably still get at the blue in the 8-foot now. The same question remains that I asked initially. Can you get to where you need to on that stone to pass it by the yellow? And I'm just not sure you can.
Tahli Gill with the last and the third.
Early scrub just to hold the line out there a bit.
Yeah, the line's really important here. They're looking to make that overlap like you mentioned. They're going to cut
tight to the yellow.
Too far, I think. Ooh. Question is, will it drag if you hit it? Because if you can run the long one on there just right, will you ever get enough drag on the yellow? So just go straight back, yellow, yellow onto the blue.
Well, you don't even necessarily just go straight back. Like, even if it touches the side of the other one, onto the yellow, onto the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not sure that if it goes to touch them just the way I just described, all 4 blues could go. Now you're going to lose. The top yellow should spin, or the second yellow. So after you hit yellow, blue, yellow, that one's going to have so much spin on it, it should probably leave. I'm just playing a draw.
Final stone? Yeah.
I was never more sure a team was going to smash, and it was going to be interesting to see it. I think they looked at it and just decided the angles weren't good.
Oh, not wanting to go down 3, they're going to try to draw for their 1 here.
This is not an easy draw for 1 either, though.
This is quite heavy. And it's going to slide on by, so now they're going to check here to make sure. We might see a measure.
They're being awful careful not to touch it. They could have tried coming off that blue stone that was sitting in the edge of the 12-foot too, towards the shot rock. That was a tough draw to try to get a single point.
Okay, my guess is blue. What do you got, Shawn?
Well, that's what I would have thought too. Now, if it's that close, that might have been the other reason why they didn't want to smash anything in there. If they thought they already had one, you don't want to risk turning it into a steal.
Great job by the production team getting in there.
Just close enough to get the glare on the micrometers.
Now,
there we go. It's clear. I can see it now.
I got a good picture. Okay. So here we go. Just about to 3, I'd say. And that looked like blue. It looked like it was already past 3. Oh, you're not supposed to do that, but that's okay.
No, not that direction, no. This is what happens. This is what happens when players are doing it.
But that was blue.
Yeah, I think so. It's close. It's really close, but I think it was blue.
So it's a steal of 1. In our books, 3-0, and we'll be back in a moment.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Back here in end number 4 was indeed a steal of 1. So it's death by paper cuts right now so far. Shawn?
Yeah, so they're going to see if they can't swing things around here, use their power play.
Oh, it's time for the power play!
Surprised you weren't all over that. You were just looking at the screen with the scoreboard. You hadn't seen the other side yet.
I was. If Mudrick can get away with wild card, I can get away with power play.
This is interesting to me with a 3-point lead with the power play against them. They're going to try to push that guard into the rings. And not going to get it exactly the way they had in mind. This will work.
Well, they end up giving themselves a center guard and center-ish.
Yeah.
And opening up the shot rack, so it's not too bad, I don't think.
Nope, not bad a result at all. Probably not giving up 6 now anyway. We haven't seen that yet today, but it happens a lot in doubles.
Here's Skaslien. That rock's still, it's exposed, but they're all still protected right now.
Yeah, they're still in the, you can't hit anything portion of the end. You can move things around, but you can't kill anything.
I like this call they just made to come underneath that stagger that's there now. Get your opponent chasing with hammer.
These last two shots, one for either team, they're a little bit more difficult. It looks like a routine draw, but you've got a guard that's now a foot off the center line. Well, you've maybe only played this shot once or twice all weekend because the guard always starts on center. So now you change the position of that guard, and it's a spot that they probably haven't thrown a lot.
And probably not the weight they were hoping for either there.
That's not horrible back there. You have to be careful. It's got to be in your mind with the way this Norwegian team has been playing so far. You leave that up too high on the rings. They've got the short yellow onto the blue run. I think at this point in time, if you can have them playing touch draws, you're probably happy with that because you know that they are looking for the opportunity to play the big weight and set up a big end. They've dodged, Gill and Hewitt have dodged a couple of bullets already. They don't want to give them too many more chances to...
Just wicked off the guard there.
Yeah. Still ends up with another one in the rings, though.
I almost like throwing the double there and rolling in.
Yeah. It's hard to count them if they're sitting in the back corner, right?
Especially, if you can find a way to have your opponent only take 1 or 2 on the power play, that's a win.
You really have to have a clear in your mind what you're playing here. To play the double, you're probably going over the top. I don't know that you want to hit the nose because the yellow's probably coming towards Shot Rock. If you go over the top, you're losing the shooter. You could just play to jam the first one and then roll in behind cover too. So you need to have it clear in your mind what you're playing here.
This one needs to come up a little bit. Gonna make the double, but you're just gonna stay right there.
Oh, that's such a nice shot. Like to catch the second one thin enough to go under your own stone at the back. Magnus will be looking to move this blue, if not all the way through the rings, close, because you want to be able to bring that one at the top of the 12-foot back into play. And when you only get to throw 5 rocks in an end, we're already getting late here in this end. He needs to move this rock far enough to have a chance to bring that one at the top back in. Sweeping for curl now. It's by the guard. I'd love to get to the inside too. Gets to the nose. I would almost say they gave some information away there. They were looking at if you hit this on the nose, there'll be a double on the 2 blues, and I'm not sure why you would tell them that. They probably see it anyway, but don't give away that you're looking at it. Gill's going to try to actually roll into the open towards the broom, because that leaves the double really tough. Having to sweep this for curl, needs to hold the shooter. He's going to make contact.
Yeah, it comes on out to the back.
Well, it's a chance to hit and sit too, though. You can make a good roll. You can sit 2. You can see half of the one at the top. That's not a gimme to pick it out. Needs to roll buried here, really. If you stay anywhere in the open, it gives... we're down to 5th. Yeah, we're down to the last stone. It would be Tahli Gill with a chance to hit and roll undercover herself for Shot Rock. You make the hit and roll over behind the 2 in the middle now, you're pretty safe to have a shot for at least 2.
So here's Magnus. Looking to remove this blue. Wants to stick around. Hit and roll underneath.
Oh, big spin back at the end.
Now Well, I know looking at the long shot here, that looks pretty lined up, but that's a lot more distance than...
Yeah, I don't think you're playing that with a 3-point lead. You miss them all and it's a tie game.
So you just freeze down onto this?
Yeah, well, that's the question, right? It's you could play to just pick it out, but this freeze with where that rock ended up, like this is the same shot you play at the start of the end, every end. And if you make it, you can take the end away from them.
You make a very good point. It's just one rock further back, right?
Yeah, exactly. You could try to pick one of them out. Either one doesn't really matter, but you're giving up 2 more than likely if you do that. And I talked about earlier about how some of the shooting percentages in doubles would be a little bit lower just because of the degree of difficulty and only having one sweeper and not necessarily calling line from in the house. Well, this shot is going to be one of the highest percentage shots made because it's thrown so often.
So, Tahli Gill is hoping that Shawn Joyce did not just jinx her. This one needs to be swept to get past the guard. You got to get past the guard. Hold it. Hold it. Oh, you did. And we just saved Shawn's life.
Yeah, they didn't play that as the straight tap or a straight freeze. They played to tap it through. Now they've made the shot difficult for 2, but there's still a shot for 2.
So just a tap back. Just got to move it to the back of the 12 foot and hold your shooter when you get your deuce here. And you're right back in this one. Skaslien with the final stone of end number 4. Now we're just cleaning.
Yeah, now he's looking for it to curl. He got the brush down right away, and this hasn't started to move yet.
It's going to get it. It's going to have to hold on. And it's going to be good enough, and there's your deuce. So hang 2 for the Norwegians is 3-2 after 4. We'll be back from Vernon after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Fifth end action here at the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling Stadium Vernon, here from the Vernon Curling Club in British Columbia. Dave Schmel and Shawn Joyce with you, and halfway through, what are your impressions of what we've seen thus far?
Well, this has been an interesting game so far. We've had the Norwegian team with a couple of big weight smashes, made some nice runbacks. It hasn't worked out for them on the scoreboard. The ends they've made those, they ended up giving up steals. But the potential has been there for big ends for them a couple of times. And I think it's fair to say we've seen it influence a couple of calls from Gill and Hewitt. They've got to be real careful what they leave behind, because this is a team that will play some big weight, and they've thrown it well so far. You just can't leave them angles to remove a lot of stones at once. It changes your mindset, really, when you've got a team that will throw those against you. It's not the same team they played in the semifinal, right? It's a different game.
So coming back from the fourth end break, it will be Gill and Hewitt with the hammer. They're throwing blue, and it's yellow for the Norwegians. To lead off the fifth end. So we're looking to make that come around draw, the classic mixed double shot. And they bring it right to the top of the button, which you had mentioned earlier is the good steal position.
Yeah, really, if you're definitely playing for the steal, you'd like to keep it in front of the tee line. The trick is to get it buried, which they did. It's nicely undercovered. No shortage of curl here in Vernon. Doubles is a game where the more curl you got in the ice and rocks, the better the entertainment's going to be. Tahli Gill didn't look particularly happy with that throw. She might have set the release a little bit.
It's coming back now. They waited for it. Now he's going to try to bring it in all the way. Well, not the best, but not the worst. It's going to give an opportunity for them to take control of that front, though.
Yeah, I think you're being generous. It's pretty close to the worst. If you leave it any hooked on top of that yellow at all, it's tough to get it high. And now Magnus has room to push that really with whatever weight he wants to play. Like you could try to set up the pocket or push it all the way to the back 12, or for now, because you can't kill it, so you might want to be careful not to throw too much weight, just try to chisel, almost sit in the pocket. Boy,
this one is going to come up
away on him.
Hit the guard, yeah. That's just a missed line call.
Yeah, that was not in the playbook at all in that particular shot.
So you can see your way through there to chase it. Do you want to? Knowing that now, yeah, it wicked off, but that's one that they can fire in. They got two different stone digging, just launch at you now.
Well, that's the issue for Dean Hewitt here. Like they're looking to come through there with quieter weight. That's a tough port to get at that yellow with quiet weight, because you have to stay on the broom side or you're jamming it on the back blue.
So Dean Hewitt here trying to get that quiet weight. Got to navigate that port.
Now once he's through the port, can they hold the line to not jam it?
I think they...
And the answer is no.
The answer is no, but that's not bad.
It's not bad. It's at least a little bit on the angle.
And I think if you run the center line one back, it's going to push the blue. If you're going to hit both blues, you're probably going to jam it back into the yellow.
Yeah, this looks like they're playing the guard. I don't love this ball.
So, begs the question, what did you love?
Well, like, you're in some trouble here. And those two blues, I mean, you can guard the two blue stones so they can't use them, but they can always come around the other side and get to your stone at the back of the button too. Then you're going to wish you had a way to get these blue stones out. It would have been tempting, I think, to try to hit, not even the pocket, don't even worry about the double. You could play the in-turn through that port, or could have when it was still there, and just hit the one blue that's on the side of the 4-foot, just to get some control of that top 4-foot area for yourself.
Now, it looks like that Gill and Hewitt are contemplating doing something about those guards and maybe opening up some.
Yeah, they're looking at the double peel.
I don't like that.
Well, that's what they got to be playing if they're playing this spot. I like peeling just the one guard on the, as we look at Tahli, just peel the guard on the left of the center line. Honestly, you could probably make a play directly on the stone at the back of the 4-foot now if you wanted to. Quiet weight. The problem with playing any kind of double peel is if you go over the top, it's coming back in towards the blues.
So Hewitt gets up to sweep his own. This is going to run and move all 3 guards, so it's wide open now. But it's also wide open for your opponents with 2 stones for them to throw. Take another look at it here, Shawn. What do you see?
Yeah, well, did what he wanted to do. It was the 2 guards near the center line he definitely needed to get rid of, and a bonus, he moves the other one over a little bit, which gives him some room, because right now he could run either of the 2 blues in the top of the 4-foot onto the shot stone. He's got enough room to do that now. I think Magnus is probably looking at playing the double on the blues. The one that's off the center line onto the one at the center line at the back. Get the double.
So Magnus Nedregotten doesn't have to go crazy with the weight, just needs to hit it right.
Yeah,
Coming on down, following it down, it's going to overcurl and just get the 1. So now you tapped up that blue onto the yellow, and how do they ever get rid of it?
Well, the question is, how much weight do you want to play at it? And there's a couple of ways to do it. They could hit the yellow that was just delivered, then tick it, and then promote the blue that way. Problem is the angle that the blue comes back at is a little tougher to predict.
That's what they're looking at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the best result because you'll actually, to play it without touching the yellow, you're going to leave the blues all kind of in a line. And if you touch the yellow first, your shooter should spill up a little bit, and you might be able to sit 3, and there's probably a double available, but there shouldn't be a triple.
So here's Dean Hewitt. Nice control weight. Now on the brush. Now you just want to wicket, just catch it just a little bit. Just a little bit, just give it a little kiss, and then push it back. That's a pretty good outcome, I think.
Yeah, a little thick on the first one, so they didn't get the blue right into the yellow at the back of the button, but it does leave them sitting shot. They've also got 3rd and 4th.
So it has to be defense time now for the Norwegians, I would think.
A little bit, yeah. Tell you what, the shot that gives you the best results is to come off the one that was just thrown, play the double into the one at the top of the button. That's not an easy shot. It's a thin double. That's what they're looking at now. That's your best result, because then you'd be sitting 2, and the angle on the yellows would be tough to get a double past the blue at the back of the 4-foot. You can also just play a double on the blues in the 4-foot. Problem is you have to hit it off center enough that you're probably losing your shooter, and then it's a shot for 2.
I don't think a guard ever saves you here.
They're thinking with the guard, it's probably a force. Like, it's tough to get a second one in there. There's really no way for them to get that yellow out if you guard the blue.
So, cat and mouse game continuing here. Question is, who's going to flinch?
Well, she's set up for the out turn, so I would say they're definitely playing the guard. And sweeping for curl. You got to be careful on this. If you leave them the outside, they can play blue onto yellow.
We get a little bit more out of it. A little bit more. I don't know if that's enough.
Pretty high.
I think you have a shot for 3, maybe even 4.
I'm not entirely sure. You couldn't play it from either turn, too. That guard is just way too high.
So they're indicating like backline weight.
Sitting one now. If they get to the nose of the blue, it should move that yellow a bit. That could be for 3. If you could get just a little bit inside the nose, then when you drive blue onto yellow, you'll be hitting yellow a little thicker, which should push it a little farther, and there's a chance you could bring that blue at the top of the 8-foot back into play.
Well, we know all of our Australian fans watching on Curling Australia's Facebook are hoping for this shot. Final stone of the 5th.
Did not look like she took a lot of ice when she let that go.
On it, right off the jump. Gotta go hard even to get past the guard. You're just not past it and you wick. It's gonna be a single. 1 for blue, it's 4-2 after 5. We'll be back from Vernon after this.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Back here in the 6th end. Missed opportunity for Gill and Hewitt there, only picking up a single. Skaslien and Nedregotten have the hammer in the 6th.
Yeah, that might have been the first time, though, where now you see Kristin and Magnus feeling like they might have dodged a bullet. Gill and Hewitt did it a few times earlier. And it's just the difference in the type of shots, right? The Norwegian team had some big weight runbacks that they were only a fraction off on, or they could have had some big ends in 1 and 2. And there it was with a touch shot. Just a feather tick on the guard. In fact, I think she kind of caught the back end of the guard on the way by. And Magnus and Kristin dodged the bullet there. We're still only 2 points separating these teams as we play the 6th.
And they do have the hammer in that even end, so in theory 2 hammers to 1, so it's still right there. So here I try to draw on down to the corner of the shot rock, push it, maybe move it just a little bit. Don't know about that far.
Well, it's not bad moving it that far. There's still a bit of a pocket on the 2 yellows, but at least you're not forming a wall at the back of the 4-foot.
So here's next stone coming down from Hewitt.
This might be a little strong as well.
Yeah, you really want to keep it close to that yellow, right?
Yeah, well, especially when you don't have last rock. Like that pocket was in your favor. Now there's room to get that blue out between the 2 of them. There's not a lot of congestion in the 4-foot yet either. There's only just the 1 stone at the back of the button. And that's to the advantage of Skaslien and Nedregotten. the more room they've got in the forefoot, you try to establish one point. It's the same as four-player curling, right? You try to establish one early and then hope you got lots of room to get your second point. And then because all the rocks are so close together in this format, I'm starting to wonder if he's got a mismatched stone. He's well short again. He did that last end too.
He just pointed at the rock.
He's probably wondering the same thing, and it's a bad time to find it. We've all been there, even in four-player curling. We've been there where you had one stone that's mismatched, and when it takes you 6 ends to find it, usually you're in trouble.
Not only did they not get to where it is, they put a stagger on the guards now. Long as they may be. So Hewitt's going to look to lob a second one in there now.
Yeah, he hasn't touched this one yet either.
Just a skosh too strong. Not bad, lined up on the yellow. So how do you dig out of this, buddy?
Well, I think if you're Magnus here, you want to come down, follow that stone down, but you need enough weight to move things. You don't have to get them out, but you've got to move that back yellow. You try to get to the nose of the blue, blue onto blue, move that back yellow, and if you leave yourself with a good angle, yellow on the blue, you might be able to get both blues on the next shot. Gill and Hewitt are going to have something to say about that because they get to throw a rock in between. He's peeling the guards.
And away the guards go. Well, we didn't see that. We didn't see that coming.
No, well, I don't know how much good it does you late in the end. I mean, you start out late in the end almost when you only get to throw 5, but there's no, peeling the guard doesn't mean you've got a double on the blues. Neither one of them leaves. If you hit the blue right in the nose right now, the only rocks that leave are the 2 yellows. Hewitt's going to look to put the guard back, and you still got a tough time scoring.
So here comes that guard. A little deeper.
A little tight. And he was okay with a tight guard. The problem is when you bring that into the rings, now when they try to run it back onto something, and they're probably going to have to, their shooter stays in the ring somewhere, which is another rock that could end up on the scoreboard.
So
what I'm seeing is you run the one that was just thrown. So let's look at the overhead just so we're looking at the same angles. Run it slightly to the right of the stone on the top of the button. Blue onto the yellow at the back. You're just going to jam those, but if you play it the other way, you're going to kill both yellows. You have to create some room to get the blues out. Your shooter rolls off the line a little bit, and you should have at least a double for 2 on the last one.
Magnus, big shove on this one, and he knows it. He took a bad slide there.
Well,
and just peels the guard. Just tried to overthrow that.
Yeah, he was trying for something that wasn't there. Like all you're going to kill is 2 yellows on that. The blues are not going to move out of the forefoot.
That was about a 4.5 second peel there.
Yeah, at a shot that wasn't going to get him anything. You could have thrown, if that's the shot you wanted to play, you could have thrown it with much quieter weight because those 2 blues aren't leaving the forefoot. They're going to jam on the 2 yellows. You could clear out some room to the button and make sure you got a shot to score, but it really didn't matter how hard you threw it. They're not going any further.
Now it's just a matter of putting the guard back.
Yeah, I mean, you could really put the screws to them here. You could come right to the top forefoot. Because again, anything they run, the Blues aren't leaving. You could make them look at 3 here.
So Tahli, Gill trying to apply the pressure to the team from Norway.
The line's good to come right in.
Light over curl. Touch.
Well, you almost need it to be over there because now she doesn't even have a draw. Like, there's no draw. She can't see this. She had half the button before, which doesn't, it's still not a lot. She doesn't have anything now. There's no draw. What do you hit? If you hit that blue on the nose, it's going onto the blue behind it, onto the yellow. It's still a steal at 2. I think all you've got is you hit the one that was just thrown, miss the second one, try to catch the side of the third one, double those out, and that's to give up a steal of 1. And that might be the only way you're only giving up 1.
Well, that's a suboptimal outcome.
I'm not sure I see any other way that you're not giving up at least 2.
Yeah, I don't see it either. Maybe they see something that we don't, but we'll find out in a moment. Final rock at the 6th end coming right now.
Oh, this is out there. She hits this on the outside. It's jamming that back yellow.
It's on the first one, moves 2, and it did indeed jam the back yellow, and it's a steal of 2. So Gill and Hewitt lead it by a score of 6-2. Heading to end number 7 from Vernon. We'll be back in a moment.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Snake. Back here in the 7th end. Gill and Hewitt with a 4-point lead. So some real work here for Skaslien and Nedregotten. So how do you bounce back after that and try to gather yourself, Shawn?
Well, I mean, it's still doubles. Teams have come back from 4 and 2 points down, with 2 ends to go lots of times. There's lots of offense. They do need to have a solid end here. They've got to put together some better angles. Since the first couple of ends, when they had a couple of smash attempts that they just didn't hit quite right, they really haven't had the angles. And it only takes one good end. Need to pick up at least 2 here. You'd like to have 3 because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to steal 2 in the 8th.
Especially because Gill and Hewitt still have their power play.
Yeah. Well, mind you, I mean, they call the power play, you're going to throw the center guard with the first one anyway. So the rules do allow you to get the chance to steal, and you know they're going to have to play whole hog for the steal, but you got to get some angles set up this end. That's not going to help. You're short on the first draw.
And as she has been in the game before, in this game, Tahli has just been nailing that shot.
Yeah, she makes the number 1 look easy.
That so changes the end when you have that name. Here's Hewitt. Just trying to come on up there and make the test tougher.
Yeah, I'd love to sit right on the face without jiggling anything. He was at a couple inches.
It jiggled a little bit, but not quite as much as Grandma's Jello mold.
Magnus here probably needs to jiggle it a little bit. Move that back when you give room to get the blues out, but also have a little bit of angle yellow onto the blue when he makes the first freeze.
So here he goes. He's trying to jiggle it just a little bit.
He's going to be a little too far off the nose, though. Those are such tough shots, but the scoreboard dictates he has to try it. He got a good jiggle on it. He moved the rocks plenty, but his shooter comes off the top of that blue stone probably a little too much.
For those keeping score, we're up to 8 uses of the word jiggle.
And it may get used a few more times at this end.
So keeping this one clean. This is that... No, it's... I just said the tough rock. Nice garden. So it'll be interesting to see if Magnus changed out this rock, because this next one he's about to throw is the one that's been giving him trouble.
This is not what I'm playing. I don't know what she's looking at over there. You hit the blue stone that was just delivered, half a rock on the outside. It catches the other center guard and comes straight back.
Oh, he's going for a Nicodine shot here. We got the helicopter. I don't know what we just saw, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they thought they were going to get out of that. I mean, they were hoping to hit the yellow as thick as they could with that spin, have it come straight back. Even if you make it, what did you get out of that? I thought if you played the double peel on the blues, coming from the outside, when it comes straight back, it hits that yellow to the corner of the 4-foot and moves those blues around it. I'm not sure you wanted to whip it, but you probably had to throw normal for that.
So I'll just lay another one up there, making it tough. Populate the area.
Throw guards now, yeah.
Can you make blue, yellow to go on to blue? You're still going to lose the one in the back.
You can, but you're not doing that and rolling your shooter off the center line, which is the original call. You might be playing this quiet, so blue onto yellow, just try to jiggle the ones in the 4-foot and have your shooter roll a little bit. It's tough. That's a lot of ice, though, if you're playing it as a run back with weight.
So here's Nedregotten. This certainly has weight. It's going to be on the first one, on the second one, and that just took care of all theirs. And we appear to be approaching a fait accompli.
Yeah, I may not have to worry about the power play next end.
Let's take another look at that.
It's another case where I'm not sure you needed to throw it that hard. But like you said, the back blue was always jamming on the yellow. It was more important to hit it right than it was to hit it hard.
I feel like we said that more than once.
Yeah, he's certainly got the ability to throw the upweight, and the first couple of ends made an outstanding run triple, and they were just, both of them were just off on the angle a couple of times, or this could have been a different game through the first two ends. But since then, There's been a few times where they could have dialed the weight back and just worry about hitting it right. The angles haven't been quite as good for them. Tahli Gill gets this underneath the yellow at all, top of the house. I'm not sure how Kristin scores.
And there's sweeping it now, and Dean is going to be able to tuck it just far enough under. And that's enough to foul it. And that will do it. It'll be handshakes there, and that'll be the final 6-2. Tahli Hill and Dean Hewitt are the winners here of the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling Stadium. Shawn, just an interesting game. We saw power versus finesse there.
Yeah, and it's just a bit of a bad break for Skaslien and Nedregotten. They had opportunities the first couple of the ends and made a couple of outstanding shots. It just wasn't the last one, and not quite getting the right angle on those shots that they had for big ends, or this could have been a totally different outcome. Gill and Hewitt played solid throughout, though. You have to give them credit.
Well, you certainly do have to tip their caps, and I want to tip our caps to our producer Ryan Jacques, and back in the studio in London, Ontario, Jerry and Cailey, and for Shawn, Joyce, I'm Dave Schmel. Thank you so much for joining us on Curling Stadium. Have a pleasant day.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.